Mm. Are we on a timer, Shawn? Sorry.
You're live.
We're live. Wow, Shawn surprised us. I thought
Surprise!
surprise, surprise. We are live. Hey, what's up? Uh, Thanks for joining us today. We're a little half an hour later. I had an appointment that I had to get to, and I already canceled it once because I had COVID. So I had to get there, even though I got back in plenty of time. It was just we did a little buffer, and thanks to Shawn and Robert here, they culminated just making sure I wasn't late. I'm Bobby Rohan. I've been hurt 33 years from a bicycle accident. I'm a C56 quadriplegic. Over to you, Robert.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Uh,
Good.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Robert. I'm a T12 motorcycle racing injury, 1974. So I'm at 49 years post-injury. Just want to thank you all for joining us and wish you a happy holiday. And we got a pretty good, interesting show today. We're going to be talking about adjusting around the holidays. So
Yeah,
we all,
for sure.
yeah, we all have to make adjustments, or you going have to be places, have to do shopping. You may be out of your routine, all kinds of things. Just basically want to know what you guys do to adjust, as well as what we're going to talk about. So, Bobby, what do you want to start out with? Where do you want to start?
Let's
Stressfulness.
just start out with, it's that time of year, and I know when we first get hurt, especially the newbies. This isn't for us rolling guys over the hill, but first you're trying to think like, how am I going to get presents done? I'm still weak, still trying to do my rehab, and eventually you start figuring things out. Back in the day, before Amazon, yeah, I would go out and get presents. But if you're like me, and I don't know if you're like me, Robert,
Yes, I am.
procrastinator. So it's always like the 23rd, maybe even one time the 24th, or probably more than a few times on the 24th, trying to get all those presents. I'm not one uh, that says, "Oh man, I see something in September for a friend or my parents or my brother. Oh, I'm gonna go get it." It's like, I should have got that a long time ago, and I would have been set. But I just don't do that, and I wish I did. What
Yeah,
about you?
I kind of agree with you. I turned into an Amazon person, but I like shopping, but just Christmas shopping. I don't like dealing with all the crowds and the traffic and trying to find parking and just being in the stores, and especially if you don't know what you're looking for. You're just browsing, trying to do that. So I'm not into that. So what I started doing years ago was primarily, it's mostly in our family for my nieces and nephews and grand nieces and nephews, give them money. So the only one stop, go to the bank, get cash. Everyone likes cash. You can get what you need. So that's kind of where I'm at, because, like I said, it's just crazy out there with all the traffic. Just me not going shopping or anything, just making errands around town. The traffic is crazy out there. So
Yeah, it is crazy, and especially just trying to go to the mall and find a parking, and it seems like everybody has a handicap placard these days, so it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
impossible to find,
yeah,
a
yeah,
spot for a ramp, and or let alone just any handicap parking. That's it is a headache, and I know that this year I did my Christmas shopping, and one thing that I have to say, being older now, there's a few kids. My cousin, he's got three kids and that's it. Everybody else is older. All my other cousins are older, don't have kids. My aunts and uncles, to my brother, to even my wife and I were like, don't don't buy anything for us. It just there's nothing I need, and we kind of got into that. If I need something, I'll buy it myself.
yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, and it's like I said, it just, for me, giving the money just takes a big piece out of it. Especially because of the holidays. Sometimes, like in some of the stuff I've been reading and looking at, the stressful. Uh, it's stressful celebrating the holiday. Because you're overindulging. Sometimes you're going out drinking a little bit more. You're eating all these holiday comfort foods, which is fine with me. I do that, and that's an issue with me because I just overeat. I eat, well, I don't eat at one sitting overeat, but I just constantly eating. It seems like all the
Right.
food and snacks and stuff like that. And that's not really good for me. But I need to do that. But sometimes with all the stuff that you have to be doing, for most people, you're exerting yourself. You're getting out of your routine, and that can be stressful there, and especially if you feel like you're kind of forced to be out there to be social and all that. If you're not, because a lot of people are introverts and things like that. So I mean, it just depends. But there's a lot of things that contribute to just kind of being overwhelmed at the holiday, and that can be depression, just like anybody can have depression, no matter
Yeah.
able-bodied, disability, or whatever. And we were talking about that. But there's just so many things, and we came up with 6 things that we thought might kind of be involve everybody. So the first one that we came up with was to kind of work around the holidays is to do something that you really like, that you really want to, and that you really like. And so
Yeah.
obviously, one of the obvious one is, because you're expected to be certain places. And we were talking a little bit about this, Bobby. You get there, like for me, I go to a function, whether it's family, friends, or whatever, and I get myself on, and once you're out, you have a great time. But I'll be there 3, 4 hours, and then all of a sudden I'm just done, and I'm ready to go. And not that I'm antisocial, it's just that I've had my time, and
Right.
that's it.
And I think that might be preparing your family or your friends. Like, listen, I'm going to come over and I want to come over, but I'm going to stick it to 2 hours, three
Yeah,
hours. I
yeah,
noticed for me, being at somebody else's house, there's no accessible bathroom. I get stuck in a corner where the house is hot, so somehow the sliding glass door opens, and guess who's next to it? It's me. So I'm freezing my tuchus off. Uh, and I think if I would, go in and, when we think of do something you really want to do, I want to do it, but I'm only going to do it on my time, meaning 2 hours. And
yeah,
luckily, my wife is always like, yeah, you should do that. We should tell everybody early. And I think that will work out a lot better, because like we were discussing yesterday, Robert, you know, going over to family's house is just not accessible for us. You were telling me about your driveway situation, and it's not your
yeah.
driveway. It's whose driveway was it? Your
It was my niece's. Everything else is accessible. It's just that I got that kind of fear of the slippery driveway, and it just if there's a little moisture, it's not so much that maybe the slipping piece. It's just by the end of the night when I leave, my body's done, and I'm not as strong and alert as I should be when I get up. Because nowadays I got to be pretty focused standing up, and I don't want to be in the party having a great time, and then at the same time worrying about when I have to leave and what I got to do to, and that kind of me dealing with it on my own, because I mean it's mostly me. I don't think it's really it's hard to explain. I just got an issue with it, but I have great times every time we go there, and her house is completely accessible, other than a couple of things in the backyard, but mostly in the house. And I have a good time there. But um, I got to. For me, the whole piece is just getting the energy. And once I get that energy, I'm okay. But I don't always get that energy. I don't always get. I don't know if it's that motivation piece or what. I just have things that affect me as in terms of a lot of things is getting that energy to do them.
one, I think some of it and some anxiety of how your body's going to feel when you're done,
Yeah, yeah,
and
well,
are you going to have the strength to drive home? And when you get home, how's tomorrow? Because maybe
yeah,
the next day you have something else, and you have to
yeah,
take care of yourself. And something a little tidbit about me today is my anxiety is through the roof. And I was saying earlier I had COVID for a week. Thought I was done. Went out and did something on Monday, and man, today's Friday and I'm or Thursday, and I'm still like, what the heck hit me? And
yeah,
it brings, whenever I get sick, my anxiety goes up, and I think everything is wrong. I think,
yeah,
I have a bad UTI. I think I'm having a heart attack or a blood clot, or, my bowels are plugged. And it's not like that. My wife's like, your heart sounds great. I, listen to it. Your blood pressure is fine. You got to relax.
Yeah.
And
Now,
I
is it
think
anything? Is it, you think, the COVID thing, or is it the holiday time? It's just things that you want to do, you can't do because it's the holiday. You think that's affecting you?
I think a little bit. Like tomorrow, I'm supposed to go see my brother, and it's an hour drive,
Yeah.
and it's up in Santa Monica. And for anybody for Los Angeles, when you live in Orange County and going up to Santa Monica,
Yeah.
it's a tough little drive. It's
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah.
And then drive home after just having lunch with him and his wife. And I told my brother what's going on today, and luckily he said, set your boundary, Bobby. If you can't do it, we can't do it. Don't go over where you're going to hurt yourself. And that was one thing, set boundaries to yourself. I don't know. Have you been learning to set boundaries for yourself, Robert?
I'm trying. For me, I'm a morning person. I mean, I'm up early. It's all those years working and all that. It was always early shifts and things like that. So I was up always early. So nowadays, being retired, I get up still. I still get up at 3:30, 4 o'clock for sure. I mean, sometimes even earlier. But I can do things early morning to mid afternoon and stuff. I'm good. It's that later in the evening now. I mean, never used to bother me, but now since the aging piece is taking place, I'm done at after a full day. We'll go down to the beach and have some lunch and breakfast with friends, and then we have some cocktails. I'm good with that because it's starting early, and
Right.
so it's just I got to keep my energy and myself motivated um, to do certain things. But yeah, I try to set some boundaries, but it
It's
seems like
hard.
the boundaries are focused on. I mean, I need to set boundaries so I can do something later on, maybe. But if I don't do anything and I rest, it's hard to then to get myself motivated to move. Get things moving during the day. So it just depends how I'm feeling, and it's all about that nowadays. I mean, how I feel. I mean, my family understands. That sometimes I'm up for it, sometimes I'm not. And I don't know if it's because it's just easier and I'm more comfortable in my house and just taking it easy nowadays. I don't know, but
Maybe,
I
maybe.
don't want to.
I feel like I'm getting there. I'm still, somewhat young with just being 50, but I keep saying that, say that. I'm trying to correct myself on that. Darren, I just saw this. Darren said it in our chat, and I totally agree with this. It's like I have good days and bad days, and the bad days are something days something happens, and the good days I sit here and do nothing. And I was thinking, like, for me, when I have my good days, I have nothing going on. When I have my bad days, it seems like there's something going on, and I'm like, oh, what is that? What's going on? Why is it? And I don't know if I just set myself up for.
Yeah, again, I don't know if my thing is the mental thing, because there's lots of times where I really have to force myself. There's things that I want to do and things that I have to do out there. So I kind of that determines what needs to be done for the day. But there's some times where I kind of a little standoffish and not sure if I really want to get out and go somewhere or whatever. And so I kind of push myself a little bit. Once I get out, I'm fine, and I start having a good time and everything like that. But there's some times where if it's something I really don't need to do, I go, I'll work it into my schedule somewhere.
Right.
For me, when I was working, my whole piece for retirement was to do nothing. And people say, "Oh, well, how can you got to do something?" I go, "I am." They don't understand that I am perfectly fine watching TV, just piddling around the house. TV is a great distraction for me, and I enjoy that. I'll sit outside of and kind of getting things done to the house since I'm home more because I never really had a chance to enjoy my house while I was working. But yeah, it's I just want to do what I want to do, and if I
Yeah.
have
Well,
something to do, if I wake up in the morning and don't have to do anything, I go, oh, okay, I'll kick back, take it easy, watch movies, or do whatever.
right. And that's one of the things we wrote down was organize that chaos, and that's
Yeah,
what you organize it. Like in the sense, I'm going to stay home more. And
yeah,
when we were younger, or I was mentoring others that just got hurt, it's telling them don't stay home and watch TV. Get out and do things. Well, you got out and did things. You worked for many many years.
yeah,
You had a really good career, have a great house, and you've set yourself up great. And now it is time that you don't have to worry about that. And whatever people say, like you
Yeah.
just watch TV, and it's like, yep, and I feel good.
I'm totally good with
But
that.
I know that's not all you do, Robert.
Yeah, well,
Is
yeah, exactly. But I don't mind it,
right,
you
and
know.
I'm kind of getting in the same boat after 33 years. It's like, I worked for 25 years. I mean, I was working since 14 and took
Yeah.
2 years off after my injury. And when I say, yeah, I was Subway, Baskin Robbins, and for something, uh, a crystal place at a mall, and then my accident happened. And then a few years later, I was back to, I went to where I bought my wheelchair, and I'm like, can I get a job? And they're like, what can you do? And I'm like, I don't know. Hire me, and you won't regret it.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, a year later, I was in sales, selling wheelchairs, and having a great time doing it. And then after that, went off the side. Then I went to sell medical supplies for catheters. Did not like that. And then all of a sudden, my other job at Rancho came, and worked there 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a long time, and I'm ready to like do things where I can work from home, do something like this, and I think that's where now I'm setting my boundaries where I used to go to all our events for Triumph.
Hmm.
And it's like, why am I trying to do that?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, because the thing too is it's nice to keep it fun and enjoyable, because after a while, like for you, maybe you're attending all these, but after a while, it becomes a little rigorous in terms of making sure to get out there, and a lot of these things aren't always close, so you're gonna end up driving places. I mean, I don't mind it and stuff like that once I'm out and about, but I do enjoy the Triumph events, but I only made like two or three of the Christmas parties where when I first got involved with and heard of Triumph, I was making them all. I went to
mhm,
all of them, even though it was a lot
right.
of driving. But so yeah, for me, it's just the holiday. I love the holidays, especially Christmas. But like I said, it's kind of changing as I get older, and I plan a lot now. Now, I can be spontaneous because I have the time for it now, but I do like planning, especially around the holidays, and to keep myself motivated in terms of what I have to do, and what I need to do and what I want to do.
Yeah. Let me we got Andrew in the house. Darren, we made a comment. Grandma is in the house. Love you, Grandma. Um, we got Ben, and Ben said this great. Christmas is the one, is great. Also, let's not forget, Christmas isn't about present. It's about being with people.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's what we've said and set our limits when we go to these places. And I think Ben wrapped it up as well, that, it's best to leave early. So you
yeah,
don't overdo it with yourself. And that's part of, keep your expectations realistic. A part
yeah,
of what we were talking about yesterday. Just keep them, realistic. Go enjoy family. And sounds like we're going over to grandma's to have some good dinner, right, Shawn? Hopefully, and
yeah,
and then prime rib. It's yummy. It's about the dinner. And one thing, my wife and I had a hard time the last few years with our turkey. It's big. She hates cutting it because it's just been her and I because of COVID stuff. And then this year we just, you know, family was going other places, and I said, let's stay home and watch football. And she was like, love it. Do we have to do a turkey? And I said, nope, let's
yeah,
do beef stew. And it made it much
yeah,
better. It was like the anxiety was down. We didn't have to worry about, you know, we didn't have to worry about, you know, getting, fulfilling somebody else's
yeah,
obligations that they wanted us there.
yeah. Well, and that's keeping your, part of what we have down here for notes for the topics is keep your expectations realistic. You need to be clear about what you want for the holidays to mean to you, and set your expectations for something that's more reasonable for what you want to do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and I think some of the kind of basically what they're saying in the comments, it's not just about the presents, and it's whatever you make it and what you need it to be. And like for me, I like being around the family and everything, but I also like being by myself too, just my time. Even though I have a lot of it, but I truly, truly enjoy it when it's when I'm kind of wrapping it up for my day. I love getting that feeling where I just can relax. I mean, uh, really relax. Where you can kind of get off my butt from sitting all day, stretching out, taking off my braces, and just really relax. And you
Yeah.
know, I got that routine. That's kind of part of my routine nowadays. If I don't go out with my buddies or anything like that, I have my specific routine here at home, just kicking it back, that witching hour for me, and I love that. And I think
Yeah.
people need to do that. That's my time, making that time for myself. Even though I have all the time I can do what I need to do, there's that certain point where this is my time. This is what I want to do. I want to watch movies. I want to watch football or whatever.
Yeah. We had a new person in our chat, C and Y. I think he's new photo video, but he's been in a chair for 45 years. He's 60. And he said it best. I love Christmas and the true meaning of the birth of Christ.
Yeah,
And that's what
that's
we're
good.
really celebrating.
Yeah,
And not to try to uh, not try to do more than what it's not a competition. One
right.
thing that I think you and I wrote down is avoid being competitive, right?
Yeah,
You know, and
yeah,
I used to be like that, be competitive at how many functions I can get to. My cousin's
yeah.
house, then my grandma's house, and then my parents' house, and then my friends at the end of the night. And back, yeah, when I was in my 20s, like no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah.
But I didn't think of the true meaning. And I think when
We lose
Sunday
sight of
rolled
that.
around, what's that?
We lose sight of that true meaning.
Yeah. And I think on Sunday when I wake up, the number one thought is, today's, Christ's day, the birth of Christ. And, there's no reason to really get, all uh, uh, stressed out about it and just
Yeah,
let it happen. The night before or the day before, we're going to have my grandson over. And that's the best part, just watching him open up
yeah,
his
yeah,
presence and and watch him enjoy what we got him. And I know we didn't get him everything he wanted, but I'm sure the other grandma will kick in there. But it's that's the joy, just watching. Like, I remember being happy when I was a little kid. The older I got, it's much better now
yeah,
that
yeah,
I have, someone to spend with and not overdo it. Like this year, our tree is really small. It's 2 feet tall because we used to try to manage bringing in a 5 foot tree. And for my wife and I, it was too unmanageable to try to decorate and put the lights
yeah.
around. And usually there's a fight because I'm like, you're doing it too tight. You have too much of a gap. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's like me because I primarily pretty much live alone. I have my sister here, and but for me, I love Christmas, and I was telling you yesterday, I decorate. I don't have a big Christmas tree. I'd like to, but I just don't want to hassle, trying
Yeah.
to decorate it, having to have somebody else. So I have a little small tree on my table, but I decorate everything where else around the house, like all around the fireplace. Put poinsettias and just the red and green traditional some little things here and there. So, but when you come in here, it feels like Christmas. It's Christmas. So, and that's what I'm good with. But yeah, I grew up because with the Christmas trees. I mean, heavily decorated and all that kind of stuff, and I really truly enjoy that. But it's not for me these days.
Yeah. And one thing we have to say, Robert, we are blessed here in Southern California compared to what I kept reading today, what's going to be happening back east with these
Oh yeah,
blizzards and the cold. I mean, now you add on to that, and we haven't even remotely started talking about that, with, just trying to maneuver in that kind of weather. And I know we
yeah.
had some of our other regulars that, they live in Canada or Alaska, but now it's back east if you're living, in Buffalo, and I think it's just
Mo-
all that, you know,
everything west of Idaho, everything west of
yeah,
Idaho, and all that.
just
Um,
crazy.
Yeah. And well, for here, it's kind of been cold of what we call cold here in California, but then they're anticipating for Christmas Day, it's going to be like almost 80 here,
Yeah,
79, high 70s, 80 degrees. So, I lived in Utah for a few years, and the snow was great and everything. I really loved that. But talk about trying to adjust and stress and all that stuff, dealing with the snow when you had to be someplace. If I didn't come home, I'd stay there and just dealing with the snow and using crutches and wheelchair. It was a learning experience. I mean, I got through it, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot when you start thinking about it, there's a lot to adjust to for us. And for me, maybe because I do overkill because I do get my anxiety issues now. It seems like, or it's anxious, whatever you want to call it, because if even if I'm waiting for somebody to come and groom the dog, there's a specific time he said to be here. I'm waiting for him, and I'm kind of start pacing for when because he's not there yet, and then my dog picks up on it, and then she's kind of getting stressed out. So it's I just don't want to ruin it for myself because I do love Christmas, but I've been adjusting for almost 50 years now, so uh, you work it through. And like I said, I'm learning a lot about myself as each year goes by and what I have to do because it's always been adjustment. Our whole life after injury has been an adjustment.
Yeah. And it always will be. And it's just how, like we said, managing that chaos and those setting those boundaries and what you can do. And,
Yeah,
it's okay to keep it small. It's okay to shrink it down. If you don't get a tree, put up something that is easy,
yeah, just
one year we had a wooden Christmas tree. It was, skinny, like this wide and
yeah,
maybe this tall, and it just had some lights and plugged it in, and that was our Christmas tree. And
yeah,
that was one year when I was down for pneumonia, and I know this time and when our weather changes, a lot of us get sick, and Mason upset it. And what's up, Mason? He doesn't go to family anymore because of his health problems,
yeah,
and you have to. And I know family realizes that, and it's okay.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. I think I worry about it more than my family does. If I don't feel up to, I feel guilty and all that stuff, but they understand. And so, I mean, I should, kind of be a little bit easier on myself too. If there's things I can't get to, and it's like because I had my parents. When they were alive. I had my mom, which I seemed like I'm taking more after her because she was pretty like a homebody type thing. And I mean, I get out and like to, party and stuff like that, but I'm becoming more of a homebody where I enjoy being at home. Where my dad was one of those guys I like to be really social and stuff like that. So, but our families do understand. And it's just like an example of one of our friends, Dean, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago. His house is the house where they meet for the holidays and all the family comes there because not all their houses are accessible. So everybody understands that, and so they have the holidays with him and the family at his house. So I go, that's great. That works. There's no problem there, other than them
Right.
being hosts.
Yeah. No, that is nice that it works for Dean. And I know you've mentioned like that you've told family, like if you want to come and stop by, it's better that way.
Yeah,
And
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 they
my
usually
family does the same thing here
yeah
from time to time. And but when I am at my cousin's house, or luckily my aunt, uh, we have a rotating for holidays for
mhm,
Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. It hasn't been like that, since the pandemic. But we always, at the beginning of the year, like, who's got Easter this year? Who's got Thanksgiving? Who's got Christmas?
yeah
And yeah, of course, I love it here because I got the accessible bathroom. My aunt's house, I can get in there. I just can't shut the door. So be it.
yeah
Everybody knows what I'm doing. I'm just emptying a leg bag. And now my cousin, his new home, the bathroom door was small
yeah
bathroom door. But we
yeah
went around to the outside and I can get into his bathroom that way and he'll hot me up. But, luckily he's young and he's just like, I go, Shawn, he goes, all right, let's go. Boop, boop, out and around,
yeah
he just,
yeah
here you go. Tell me when you're done because the door was a little bit heavy, but it works out.
yeah yeah. It's like I said, the holidays used to be. They seemed like they took so long to come around. Now it's like came fast. I mean, Sunday's Christmas, and I'm as prepared as I can be for it. I did what I needed to do for it, and like I said, I just enjoy the holidays. But I'm finding myself needing a little more of what I need to do and just taking it easy. Or, like I said, I don't mind being alone on Christmas Eve if I had to. I don't mind being alone on Christmas Day if I had to. But, if I don't go out with family on Christmas Eve, they come to me on Sunday. So it works out for everybody. And like we were saying earlier, they
Yeah.
understand. They understand.
No, and that's great. Robert, you want to talk about our sponsors? We have two.
Sure. Just to remind you, our two sponsors that we have are mobility professionals and urology professionals. I use mobility professionals a few times. Lately, I haven't because of my insurance piece, but they're a local company for all your wheelchair needs and mobility needs here in Southern California. And their sister company, Urology Professionals, is a national company, and they'll handle all your urological needs. So give them a call, check them out. Great group of people. Dean's part of that. Don, the owner, shows up to a lot of events and is just an all-around great guy. And their staff and a couple of parties that we went to for Christmas at some of the hospitals, they show up. They're a great company. They understand. Dean's in place there to also give advice to you, especially if you're measuring for wheelchairs and things like that. But you definitely got to check them out. Mobility professionals and urology professionals.
Yeah. And what's nice is Dean talks to his employees like, you have to remember they're going through a lot right now. So if they're acting a little pissy, it's not
Yeah.
on you. Probably they're
Yeah.
just fed up with their insurance and other things. And
Yeah.
so they have his staff has an understanding and he directs them, where some companies are like, they don't have anybody in a chair to relate. So that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dean's just a great guy to deal with. He know the measurements on your chairs. He'll give you advice. Hey, it's like I wanted to get one of these cushions. The that Roho has. It's a I forget what the name of it is, but it's the hard foam, and then it's got the little insert for the Roho. And I got that, hoping it would make my transfers a little easier and things like that, because I have, instead of my hand sinking down, I have a firm surface to transfer it from. And he said, he goes, "You're not going to like it." I go, and I tried it out. And I'm not really into it. It doesn't do, because my transfers are just getting a little more difficult, especially in a Rojo, because I put my hand on the cushion and it just sinks. You don't get that extra
Yeah,
height stability. But yeah, they're
exactly.
great people, good people. I'm glad that I come across them, and they're in my life now.
Well, I wanted to point out in our chat, CNY photo video. He's in Syracuse, New York, so he says it's coming. It's going to be cold out there. Andrew says it's got a foot of snow and -5 Celsius, which is but cold. And it looks like Darren says it's 20 with wind chills of -40. Woo, no way. And we didn't get to say hello to Roy, but it looked like Roy had to go. Always great seeing Roy in our chat as well. Yeah, we are spoiled to have the weather that we're going to have this weekend. In some ways, when it is warm, you're like, doesn't feel like that. What you see in the movies a little bit.
Yeah,
You're like, oh man, I mean, you watch, Christmas Vacation or Christmas Story
yeah.
and a couple others. You're just like, well, only not here, not in Southern California, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, we have gotten spoiled. But yeah, I've been watching the news earlier, and all these people that are traveling, all that, not sure if their flights are going to be canceled, and
Yeah.
that's talk about stress there. You get
Oh
prepared and
yeah.
all that, and you're at the airport. And for me, being at the airport, I enjoy flying and stuff like that. But you know, I get there way ahead of time because I don't like to rush around at an airport, especially I don't want to be hit with any unexpected delays. So I always get there kind of early, and if I have time, then you get something to eat, a cocktail or whatever you want to do. But to me, being in an airport is stressful.
Yeah, one year I was trying to go to Montana and on I think it's called Black Wednesday for flying, the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad's dropping me off, and he's like, "All right, I can't believe you're doing this, going to Montana to just go see a couple friends in the middle of nowhere." And it was a little log cabin, actually. Oh man, why am I drawing a blank on the city? It's been so long. but it's the same little town that they caught the Unabomber. Yeah,
Okay.
the guy who used to do the letters. They found him in that same little city, like right up the street. So, little nostalgia of that little city. I'm trying to blank of it, but I remember getting to the airport and my dad drops me off and he was like, "All right, have a good one." Takes off and I hear this Seattle, blah blah blah. I'm like, was that a flight cancel? That I was supposed to go to Seattle. Oh, that better. I get to the ticket counter. It's my flight. Somehow they got me. I don't know. It was a route of the day of days. It was just crazy.
Just one of those days, which happens all the time when you're with airports, and just like the delays, and then because I try to fly, I used to try to when I flew a lot, I used to want to direct flights, but sometimes you had to have the layovers and all that, and then you're late for one, and you're trying to make the other plane, and you have your routine because they do sit you on first, but you want to be there for that. But then now you can't be there for that because the other plane was delayed. It's just a mess. And like I said, I don't miss any of that at all. But I see a lot of people today on the news just waiting to see if their flights are going to still uh, arrive on time or be canceled or whatever.
And that's the beauty of being in a wheelchair. Sometimes at the airport, back in the day, they were like, "Okay, we can get you on this flight. I'm sorry, you're in first class."
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
yes, and
yeah,
I know they tried not to just give those out, and
yeah,
and usually for me, I always got first class, or sometimes when the plane wasn't quite full, I'd be like, I'm much comfortable in first class because I'm 6'2", and I can't really get up, and
yeah.
so it'd be better. And they're like, hold on, let me see. Now you can't even
Oh,
with all these air miles, people, they have the air miles to do first class all the time now. So
yeah,
every
yeah.
time I've asked in the last like 4 or 5 years, it's like, nope.
Yeah, it's a different game. I used to fly every week when I was living in Utah and stuff like that. And you get to know the people at the airport for the most part, and they would take care of you and all that stuff. But nowadays, I don't know if it's the same thing anymore. There's so much has changed
Yeah.
with the airlines.
Yeah. So I think we're going to wrap up. Thanks everyone for the chat. Great to see Darren, Roy, Andrew, um, uh, CNY, photo, video, Mason. I know we have Ben. Ben, what's up? Always great. He said hit that smash that like button. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yeah,
definitely.
Grandma in the house, Grandma Verna. Thank you so much. Love you. Glad you're doing that lasagna. Save me a piece. And Andrew asked um, CNY if he likes spinning it alone. He said no. I love company, but on the average day, I do enjoy solitude, and I
Yeah,
do too.
that's
And I think that's what you said.
solitude. That's what it is, solitude.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's okay. Oh, Olivia just popped on. Thanks, Olivia. Love you, girl. And I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas before we wrap up. Happy New Year. We're every Tuesday, second Thursday, and fourth Thursday of the month. And don't forget, we have our every show, a guy show on Tuesday at 3:30. There's usually we're at 3 o'clock, but because I had an appointment, the guys made an adjustment for me. So thank you guys. Um, so I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Don't forget,
Yeah.
oh, and our women's show, don't forget that. They're the first and third Thursday when we're not on. They're at 3 p.m. as well.
So we won't
Um,
be we won't be back until next year now, right?
yeah, I'll see
'Cause,
you in a year.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The first week of January we'll see them.
I know. It's so hard to believe 2023. It goes
I'm
by.
flying. I'm flying.
Yeah, hopefully, New Year's plans for me as my sister comes in. She's usually laid back and lets me watch my bowl games, but this year she's like, when we come in, we want to do a little bit more. I'm just like, ugh. So I'll have to manage and let them know what I can and can't do. But I do want to go out and do something. When I am doing stuff with her and her husband, and I have a lot more help than just my wife, it makes it lot easier.
Yeah.
Like right now,
Right.
I'm planning a trip to go up to Windsor, Canada, for in the summer in August for my brother's birthday. He wants me to come, and I'm like, yeah, doing a trip with you because you can help. He's big, he's
Yeah.
strong, he's a physical therapist. He knows how to
Yeah.
lift me. So yeah, it makes it easier.
And the weather's good. It's not cold up there like it is now up
No,
there.
no, no. I wouldn't. If he was picking any other month, no. He wants to mountain
Yeah.
bike down the ski runs. So
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Cool. All right. Well, happy holidays, everybody. Have a good time. We'll see you in a few weeks.
yes.
Be safe and take care of yourself.
Live to roll. Take